Hey, this is Ari with Epic Systems, and I've just put together a quick video here to show you how to set up our new Google Home driver for Control4. So I'm in Composer, and the first thing I'm going to do is simply add the driver to the project. I'll go over to the Search tab. If you search for Google Home, you'll see our driver, and I can simply click and drag it over into whatever room I'd like. In this case, I'm going to add it to the demo room. And I go into the properties, and the first thing I need to do is, activate the driver. I'll put in my license key of 12345 and make sure the license activated successfully. Your license key will probably be a little bit more complex than that, I would hope. So don't go ahead and try 12345 because it won't work. Alright, so the next thing is the Google IP address. It's pretty easy to find that if you go into the Home app itself on your mobile device. You simply go to the menu and you select Devices, and then underneath your home that you want to pair, you'll see dot 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 on the top right corner. You can select that and then Settings. And if you scroll down to the very bottom of the settings for that particular home, you'll see it should list the IP address. And in addition to that, you'll see the firmware version, the MAC address, and so forth. So my IP address is 10.0.0.174. I'll add the IP address. Now I need to just start adding trigger names. So we'll go ahead and add a couple triggers. Let's say Xfinity. Create one called perhaps Apple TV. Maybe one called Basement. Maybe one called Kitchen. Perhaps even some station names, like I'm an NHL fan, so I often watch NHL Network, so maybe I'll just create one called NHL Network, which will allow me to tune directly to a specific channel. I also watch CNN quite a bit, so maybe I'll add that as well. Alright, so we see now we've got a few different triggers defined, and now all we need to do is initiate the pairing for the first time from the Google Home app on my mobile device. So I'm going to pull out my smartphone. In this case, I'm using an Android Note 5, and I go to my Google Home app. Go ahead and open that up. And under the Home Control, there is a button here now to add my smart devices, and it's in the bottom right hand corner. There's a plus button. I click the plus button, and then I have a choice of Nest, Hue, or Smart Things, and I'm going to choose Hue. And now I see a screen that says connect the Hue bridge to Google, and there's a button in the bottom right hand corner of the screen that says pair. And if I simply click that button, I see a spinning green circle, and after about 3 or 4 seconds it says pairing complete. I don't need to do anything on the driver's side here in Control4. Unlike with our Echo driver where you had to click Ascend Discovery, we've eliminated the need for that, and so all I have to do is just initiate the pairing on this from the Home app. There's also a screen now in the Home app that will show me all the devices. It says assign rooms. I'm going to choose not to assign any rooms to these devices. I'm just going to leave them unassigned, but I do see now 6 different devices in the Home app that match my triggers. And then I can click Done. And it says, okay, you're all set. And so now, if I start talking to my home, it should be at least aware of all the triggers that I've defined. So let's give it a quick test. Hey Google, turn on Apple TV. said, okay, turning the Apple TV on. Let me turn up. Hey Google, volume 6. All right. Hey Google, turn on CNN.
Okay, turning the CNN on.
And you'll notice if I go over here to the Lua tab that I can see that, in fact, that it's triggering these events in our driver for CNN, Apple TV, and so forth. I also see that periodically there's a communication back and forth between the home and our driver every few seconds or 30 seconds or so. Lastly, all I have to do is just program the events now to do what I want. So if I go into programming and then I go to Google Home, I see here a drop-down box showing all of the different events that have been auto-generated based on the triggers that I named. So we have Xfinity on, off, up, down, and set, and on, off, up, down sets events for each of the other triggers. So for example, if I want to simply configure NHL Network on event, and I want to have that turn on the TV in my basement, I'm going to just choose select media, broadcast video, NHL Network, drag that over to programming, and then I also have to, in this case, add a select command so that it actually selects that channel. And there we go. Now I go ahead and test it. Hey Google, turn on NHL Network.
Okay, turning the NHL Network on.
And give it a second here, and my TV is now turning on. Although you can't see that in the video, of course. Yeah, we've got the NHL Network on. Let me just double check. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And we can go ahead and continue programming. So for example, maybe I want to have the basement on event, turn on the lights in my basement. Actually, I'll pull up the My Home app just to show you what's happening here in Control4. Since I'm not doing a full-blown video, just a screen share. There we go. So for example, if we go to basement, and right now I only have one switch in my basement. That's pretty straightforward, but if I wanted to have my basement off, perhaps turn off the lights in the basement, I could have it just simply turn off this light switch, and there we go. Hey Google, turn off the basement.
Sure, turning the basement off.
And there you go, you can see it turn off the light. And of course, if I want to, maybe I want to have basement on, turn on my lighting and my TV, so we'll go ahead and have it turn this light switch on, and we'll have it turn the basement TV on to, let's see, how about CNN? And add our select command. Hey Google, turn on the basement.
Sure, turning the basement on.
And you can see there, it just turned on the light, and also is in the process of turning on my Comcast on my TV and tuning to CNN. And there we go, we got Anderson Cooper. The other thing that's great about this driver is that if you do add more triggers, all you have to do is come back and turn the volume down so you can hear me now. All you have to do is come back, and either if I want to remove a trigger, I can just simply remove it. So for example, let's say I remove kitchen, it'll automatically remove that from the home app device list immediately. Or if I want to add a new trigger, same thing, it'll automatically synchronize it. So let's create another one called, just to test this out, for example, we can create one called House. And you'll see it added one called House. And I can even start talking to the home. Hey Google, turn off the house.
According to YouTube, if you found the water shut-off valve inside your house, turn it off. Just turn the valve to the right as far as it goes with the
Okay,
wrench.
Google, stop.
Hurry.
Okay, apparently it didn't hear me correctly there. Okay, Google, turn off house.
You got it. Turning the house off.
Oh, there we go. Perhaps it just hadn't synced yet. It takes a couple seconds to sync. The other thing that's nice about the home is that you can also add, has much fewer reserve words than the Echo, for example. So you can add a word such as, you know, artist names are okay. So if I say like Grateful Dead, for example, one of my favorites, or if I add even the word blinds or shades, doesn't seem to have a problem with. Blinds, shades. Okay, Google, turn on Grateful Dead.
Sure, turning the Grateful Dead on.
And you hear it responds with, okay, turning the Grateful Dead on. And we can see here that it triggered that. So this event actually overrode its default behavior, which is to try to turn on Grateful Dead on my Spotify playlist. If I go in here, and this is going to be kind of a live test, but if I go in here and remove Grateful Dead from my list of triggers, I give it a couple seconds to catch up and sync. The next time I should say turn on Grateful Dead, it'll probably attempt now to turn it on Spotify. Hey Google, turn on Grateful Dead.
Sure, here's Grateful Dead on Spotify.
And there you go, it's going to start playing Grateful Dead on my Spotify. Hey Google, Volume 1. And that pretty much sums it up. Hope you enjoy the driver.